right, well, welcome back to Untold Gems, guys. We have got Naomi. Naomi is a model, and she's joining us on the pod today to talk about her career, modeling, and other things she's done as well. So what's up? How's everyone doing?
Good.
Hi. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, for
Always,
sure, for
always.
sure,
Thanks
Thanks
for
for
your time. I was
for
very
sure,
surprised to have the invite. I was like, oh my God, am I important now?
for sure.
I was telling Sasha, I was like, oh my God, I love your podcast. I've watched every single episode. She's like, oh my God, would you like to be on it? I was like, no.
So yeah, we like to have people on that do like interesting things and things that are different a bit. And so, did I get that right? Like, you're a model. Do you do any other things as well that I didn't mention?
Well, I do have like I work for the government, so I'm a immigration agent for the government of Canada, and I model also, and I do some other things on Instagram. Like, I mean, not some
Okay,
other things, but I also do like some influencing here and there. So that's pretty much.
nice, nice. How long have you been modeling for?
I'm going on my, I think I 20, and I'm turning 26, so like approximately 5 to 6 years. Yeah,
Oh,
Oh,
wow,
okay,
nice. Wow.
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I've always wondered, like, how do people get into modeling? Like, does someone find you, or like, do you go find an agent? Like, how does that work?
Well, it can go both ways. I feel like for most people, especially the one that has been like have been doing it for a while, they got scouted. A lot of times you get scouted, so like you get approached by agents that like it can be anywhere. Like while you're walking the streets, or like I
Um,
got scouted walking, I got scouted at school, like anywhere, and they basically just ask you to just meet them and like take pictures of you and see if you're interested into modeling.
Mm,
I feel like nowadays you get more approached like on social media, just because like content creating is a big thing. So
yeah, makes
um,
sense.
yeah, so it goes both way. But for the ones that have been doing it for a long time, it you get scouted for most of the time. Yeah.
and how did you get scouted? Or did you get
So
scouted?
yes, I did. I did get
Okay.
scouted. I was approached by a couple of agencies, like through, I would say like approximately 2 years. But I used to be very shy, so I was never. I always thought like people would say, "Oh, like you should be a model," just because they thought I was pretty, but I didn't have the confidence enough to be a model. So
Yeah.
I was never really interested in it until like I remember I had like a little box with like agency cards that I never really touched and never like went through because I was just so scared and afraid, and like all the things that you hear um, from the modeling agency, just it's a lot. It's very scary for a young woman. So I never went through unless until this day. I was working at Aldo at the time, and this guy came and was doing like Montreal Fashion Week, and he was like, oh, like, are you a model? Like, you have to model, whatever. And I was like, oh, like, no, I'm not really interested. He's like, no, you have to do it. And I was like, no, no,
Um,
He's like, okay, like, no, yeah, take my number. I was like, okay, sure, I'll take your number. But like, knowing damn well I wasn't gonna go any like further with that. And he's like, I'll add you and like we'll talk tomorrow. And then the next day, he's like, I sent your profile to agencies. We're gonna meet this, this, this. And I was like, I literally met you like 2 hours ago. Like now I'm just gonna go and like so I spoke to my mom, and my mom was like, okay, yeah, like go ahead, and like like it is for you. Sometimes when things come like a lot of times and you just like keep on refusing it, like maybe it's really what
it's a
you should
sign.
do. It's a
Yeah.
sign. And she's like, go ahead and see. If you don't like it, then you don't like it, but at least you tried it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So we took one afternoon. I met up with like three agency. I got two contracts, and then I just had to like kind of go over it with my parents and see what I wanted to do and what I liked and what I didn't like. And I picked one, and that's how it happened. I chose one agency and I signed with them, and I've been signed with the same agency for like almost 5 years now. So,
Wow. What kind of work
Wow.
do you guys do, like, with this agency? Like, is it pictures or, like, do you walk runways?
I would say it depends on the models and the type of model that you are. I would say the agency usually have a vision for you. So like I do more e-com. So like e-commerce, which is
Oh,
which is
cool.
websites. This is mainly what I do. Ever since I signed, I think I had my first casting like I signed in October. I had my first casting beginning of November. End of November, I was already like I had a contract. So I do a lot of e-com and campaign mainly. It's also because I'm very short. Like you can't really tell because I have long
Oh,
legs,
really? I
long
thought you were
arms.
tall.
No, I just know my angles, girl. No,
Wow.
I'm like 5'6", 5'7", I would say.
Oh,
Like
you're
I'm not
still
more.
tall.
That's not
Yeah,
You're
I
still
short.
am kind
tall.
of
That's
tall, but
not short.
I'm
compared
That's
five
not
compared
seven
to
short.
too.
models, like
Yeah, yeah.
I
Compared to models, yeah.
yeah,
Okay, yes,
exactly.
yes.
You know, like I would say I'm the average woman, right? But compared to models, I've been like I model with girls that are like 5'10" and 6, right? So
Um,
I'm pretty short. So I don't do much runways. I also don't like it. It's very stressful.
yeah,
A
it
lot of
sounds so
pressure.
scary.
It's a lot of time too. So and for a lot of time runways are not as paying as
Oh,
like
really?
yeah, e-commerce or campaigns. So a lot of models do um runways because of the exposure that it brings you. So yeah, like I mainly do e-com, but you can have all type of models. So like you can have models that do runway mainly, or TV commercials, more acting and more. So it depends on what the agency see in you and where they want to place you on. But I could call my agency and be like, you know what, I want to have more acting contract. I feel like I want to try it, and they'll be like, okay, well, we'll put you more on castings, and we'll see with that. So they'll place me in castings for acting.
Okay.
So it really goes with what you want to see. But my agency is always going to be like, well, you know, maybe this is not for you, or maybe, but they're still going to let me try and see for myself. So I would say there's all type of models, honestly. Yeah.
When you say e-com, like, do you mean like websites that you model for? So like
Yeah.
any websites that we would know, or it's
Yeah.
like low-key websites?
No, well, I do both. Honestly, it depends on like I've done e-com for like Simon's
Okay,
Garage.
okay,
Oh,
okay, okay.
Um,
cool.
Oh, so you're that person. Like I've always wondered, like, who are those people?
Me too.
I am that person that gets on set at 8 a.m. for you to shop the clothes. I am.
Uh,
So like just brands like that, like I just to name a few, La Vie en Rose, and like you know, so a
Oh,
lot.
Okay.
I do mainly e-com, and that's for like Montreal clients. So yeah,
is
okay,
the
that's fine.
agency in Montreal? Like it's a
yeah.
Montreal agency? Okay, cool.
Yeah, so like you always have like your mother agency, like every model has one mother agency, and then they kind of place you with other agencies depending on like where you want to go with your career.
Yeah.
But you can get placed with other agency like internationally, or even like in the same
Oh, that's cool.
ouais, dans le same continent. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Is
Yeah,
there a
I just
reason
got
why
a
you
quick
haven't?
question.
Oh, go, Charl, go.
Because I'm kind of marked by the Tyra Banks top model. Is there like a regime, like a workout regime to keep you on, or a diet? Because I always wondered how do
Yeah.
it looks so intense, and it looks like as if you're a professional athlete. So I just want to know the schedule, how it would be like a typical casting day.
Well, I would say once again, it depends on the type of model that you are, in a sense where there is models that would put more pressure on themselves. Like for myself, I know that like castings are like very intimidating. So like I used to hate doing casting. I would only take direct booking, which is like the client booking you without casting you. So you don't go and meet them and try on the clothes. So that's one. And the second is you know, there's models that really don't have any like the agency is not going to force you to have a diet or to just like wear a certain type of size. Of course, there is an image that they have for you, and if you like, for example, if they see me and I'm not a size 0 anymore, they'll be like, well, you know, we might place you in another category, or we'll have to update your Polaroids and etc. But they're not going to force you to stay a certain size. But yet again, it depends on the agency and the type of modeling that you do. You know, like it might completely be different if you're signed with an agency in the US. So
Yeah.
it depends too with the pressure that you put on yourself. Like I am someone who just eats clean normally. Like I'm careful with what I eat. I am a bit physical. I would say a bit like physically active, but I don't go to the gym every day and work out, you know? So there's model that do that and there's model that don't. So it depends a lot, but there's definitely agency that put more pressure on like staying a certain size, or, you know, so you do see of that. And especially if you have like a recurrent client, I've heard stories of a client of a model getting on set and she was bigger than her pictures and they sent her back home. So,
No.
you know, yeah. And it
She
happens.
catfished.
Exactly. Exactly. The guy's like, that's not what I'm paying for today. So, you know, it depends. It honestly depends on the agency and what pressure they put on you. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think things have changed a little bit. Like Tyra Banks was crazy back in the day. Like they don't even
Yeah.
run that show anymore because it was actually crazy.
Mhm.
So like
Mhm.
there's so many more plus size models and like different
Mhm.
shapes and sizes these days that I really don't think it would be that strict anymore.
Absolutely. It's not in the same era. Like I said, like when I started modeling, that there was girls that were so skinny and long and like beautiful, and I was like, oh my god, like, and I'm pretty skinny, like I felt like uncomfortable sometimes. I was like, oh my god, like I think I'm too fat for this, or like I don't have enough boobs for that.
No
Or,
way.
so yeah, like it's
Yeah.
and that's what this industry can do to you. You compare yourself a lot to other girls and stuff, but I don't think every single modeling agency is inclusive as they want to make it seem.
Mm,
I
you're
don't think
right.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's like that really. I do think that there's still modeling agency in the world where it's like how Tyra Banks and what you see on like on American Next Top Model. So it really depends on, like I said, depends on the modeling that you do in the agency that you're in. Yeah.
Like logistically, like for your Simon's shoot, for example, was that in Montreal here, or did you have to go somewhere to do that?
Their head office is in Quebec City, so I had to go in Quebec City every other week to shoot.
Okay. Do you get
Yeah.
to like travel often, or that doesn't happen?
Well, because I only have my agency in Montreal, so I don't have other agency. I'm not signed internationally, and that's mainly because like modeling was never like when I started modeling, it was more of like a side money thing for me.
Mm,
It's not as stable for a lot of models for me to see a future in it. Like it wasn't as stable. I wasn't seeing it as a stable income for me to see a future in it, I would say. And maybe I didn't like it that much also. So I was just like, oh, like I can have something else that it's way more stable and way more like that brings me more in terms of like value in what I do than modeling. So I just signed with one agency and I was really comfortable with just being in like modeling in Montreal. And like sometimes I would go to Quebec, and like sometimes client can fly you out to other places in the world. But that's pretty much where I stopped my modeling. So I went to Quebec many times for other brands and in Montreal. Yeah.
okay. And why wouldn't you, because you've been doing this for a while now, so why wouldn't you be doing this full time? Or is it just like your decision to keep working a job or
Yeah. Yeah,
okay, so
I think like I said, I never I always thought of modeling to not be stable enough, I think.
mm,
But at the same time I just felt like there was too many sacrifices for me to do to like really push in it. So, like I have model friends that like they would just drop everything, their job, their apartment, their studies, and just go abroad. And like there's no guarantee that you would be booked. There's no guarantee that you'll have contracts and have money running to pay for the model houses and like for your living over there. And so to me it's just I'm more of a I don't like to take much risk. So
mm,
it was just too scary for me. And I was like, I'm fine with this. I having my normal job and being able to do both. And I have like two incomes coming in and I can just save my
yeah,
money.
yeah,
And
yeah.
like, if I work full time all the time, I don't necessarily have to spend my modeling money. So it was more of that. But it's definitely something that is doable. It's not because you only model in Montreal that you won't be able to model somewhere else.
Hmm.
It's just, I guess it's just your own decisions. It comes from your own decision, what you're willing to take and to do to reach that level.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Makes
I
sense.
just had a quick question. How do you balance having a 9 to 5 and your face being all over the internet? Because I can only imagine like you going
Oh,
to the
that's a
office
good
and everybody
question.
seeing your full shoot, or you going on
Yeah.
assignment and they see you. Is that ever coming to face where people like recognize you automatically from or even from the show, etc.? How does that play with
Yeah,
your 9 to 5?
it's sometimes it is awkward, and sometimes I kind of don't like it because I don't want people to have assumptions about like who I am and what I do, and just like be like, oh, she's just a model. And especially in the field that I work, just for example, I have a new training at my work, and you know how like you have like Zoom cameras and we all like introduce each other. But like the first day, I didn't put my camera on because like I was just like a bit too shy. And then on the second day, I did put my camera on and just to say hi. And they're like, "Oh my God, you do model, right? Like I recognize that now." I was like, "Yeah, like," but I'm like, not like it's not. I don't know. It's still awkward for me because there's so much that comes behind it, and I don't want to be known to be that person. But
Yeah.
I feel like it's also I have to realize that, well, this is what I'm doing and this is my job. And like I was on a reality TV show. There is chances I will get recognized. And as long as like I put myself my own boundaries and like be like, well, this is my job and this is something else, and I can balance both, like I think that it's definitely doable. It's a lot of, it depends also on the job that you do and like how you manage your own things. But it's something that just I had to come around and just live with it, I guess. But it's definitely awkward sometimes. Like I've been in a situation where like I was at the library studying and someone was shopping for bathing suit in front of me, and they just like realized that the bathing suit they were shopping with was me, and then they just went like,
That's
and I was
crazy.
like,
That's crazy.
hi, that's my butt. But it's still very, I guess I can't complain. I'm really blessed to
Yeah, it's
be able to
cool.
make money by the way I look, so
Yeah.
it's yeah.
So you guys mentioned like reality show. I know they've told me you've been on reality show. I've never watched that show. Like I've never watched a single episode. So like for someone who's never watched, what is it? Like what do they do? What do you guys do?
It's kind of a 5 girls, 5 boys in 2 houses, mingling and finding love and
Mm, it's
and
one of
getting a
those.
big condo kind of thing. Um,
Okay.
it's yeah. I don't know. Have you watched like Love Island or like these type of shows? No.
Yeah.
I've watched like those types of shows. Like
Yeah. Well,
Like Too
it's
Hot to
a bit.
Handle?
yeah, I've seen like Too Hot to Handle, for example.
It's a
Okay,
bit like
Sasha.
that, but it's just a tiny less intense, I would say. Like I don't have to walk around in a bathing suit. But it's
Mm,
pretty much that. You meet a guy and you get to know each other and you fall in love, and in front of the whole Quebec, and
Yeah,
you
that's
win a house.
crazy.
that's
Yeah.
funny. Is it also shot in Quebec, or do you guys like do they take you out?
Yeah, we traveled. My year was in South Africa, but they've done
Wow.
some
Damn.
in Greece, they've done some in Bali. This year's in Martinique. So
Mm.
yeah.
And did you find love like on the show? Or?
No, I did
No.
not. No. No. I think that I even said in my edition, I was like, honestly, I don't think I'm gonna find love, but I'm all in for the free vacation. I want to
Mm,
meet people.
Duh.
I was really young too. I was 22, and like at this time, just like I said, wide sacrifices. I was like, I didn't really care about my job and like my apartment. I was like, I left everything to just go to another country in front of some like and film a TV show for like almost 3 months. So it's yeah.
Yeah,
uh,
that's crazy. How did
I
Yeah.
you
wish
like
I should have watched an episode at least, like knowing that she was coming on. Did you guys ever watch? Like I've never watched.
honestly, I watched a bit, but I never watched a full season like before. But I know like I understand the concept of the show, you
Mm,
know.
mm.
Mhm.
But did you have to apply to get on the show, or like do they like
Yeah,
approach
Had
people?
to
Oh,
watch.
really? You
yeah,
applied?
you do
That's
have to
that's a
apply.
full
Well, back then you mainly had to apply. I know that now they approach more people, like especially when they're like looking for specific profile or type of people. So they'll DM people and stuff, but like you had to go and audition and be like,
Wow, how was that
hi,
experience?
it was so like I was so nervous. Honestly, I'm you might not think, but I'm really shy. I can be really shy, especially like around things I don't really know, or around people that I'm not comfortable with. And I kept thinking, I was like, there's no way they're gonna pick me. I'm like too shy, and I'm like, it's
Mm.
not gonna work out. And I'm not that girl that's going to fight for a man and be like, this is mine. So it was just very awkward. But the minute that I stepped in, like I feel one of the judge went like, "Oh my God, you're so pretty," and all of them were like, "Yeah, like you're so pretty." And at that moment, I
They
knew
chose you.
they were gonna pick me just because
Yeah.
of how I look. So it didn't really matter
Wow.
what I said. So
They're like,
yeah,
yes, we want her.
That's funny.
exactly. So I was like, they were asking me a question like, what if you're in a situation, you're in a bar and this girl wants the man that you want? And I was like, well, I'm gonna go and be like, this is mine, like kind of like saying what, but
What they want to
I
hear,
would
yeah.
have never done that. Like I don't even approach any guy when I'm at the bar. I don't like. I'm more of like. I mean, Sasha, you've seen me on my social media. Like
Yeah.
I go out, I drink, I dance with my friends. So that's a bit more of who I am. But yeah,
So you didn't get into any beefs with the other people?
if I didn't get into what?
Into beefs, like did you have beef with the other people?
I did get into an argument with one of the girls, but like that's just some catty fights. And that's one thing that I didn't want. I didn't want to be labeled as that girl fighting for a guy on TV. It's just so embarrassing. Like, and I'm not judging anyone who done it before, but I had a hard time with like on my mind be like, oh my God, like the whole like tout le Quebec is going to watch me fight.
They're watching you.
Guy that I met 12 minutes ago, and like it's embarrassing, and I didn't want to be in that position.
Yeah, that is embarrassing.
So like I had this argument with this girl because she was gonna make it seem like that, and I was like, you don't know me, and blah blah blah, and like being all sassy and stuff.
We have to go watch it, guys.
Yeah, but at the same time,
I feel like I should have watched something like.
You're put in a situation where like you have no phone, no TV, you don't speak to your family, you don't speak to no one, and you're just like in a room with like 5 other girls that you've never met.
Strangers,
yeah, strangers that you have to share a room, bathroom, living room. You get on like, things get on your nerves really fast, you know. I'm not someone who fights, I'm not someone who argues, but I was like, not today, I'm tired. Let's go.
How long was it like for that you didn't have your phone for example?
I left my phone on, I think it was on July. I think it was August, was it? I think it was July or August 29th, and I got it back on October 25th, something like that.
It's a whole month.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like 3 months with no phone.
Yeah.
And there's
like, you're gonna forget because like I remember we were shopping one day because we don't go to malls, we don't do anything pretty much, and I was like, oh my God, there's a new iPhone. And I was like, wait, what month? Like, what? And we were all like, kind of like, oh my God, like, we're still in the real world, you know? We kind of forget because we're like filmed all the time.
Yeah, you're taken into like a little bubble. Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, there's a new iPhone. And like, so it's a good, it's honestly, the only good thing I would say is that once you get off of the show, you get to enjoy the city that you're in, like the country that you're in.
Oh,
so like, I was like, I was 4.5 weeks in South Africa, just doing what I wanted to do, going out and surfing and all of that without my phone. And honestly, it was one of the best experiences ever. Like not being in the restaurant and like filming my plate and like filming things and like just, I enjoyed it so much, like way much better. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you just
and they
talk
paid
about
for
like
the whole trip? Like everything was paid?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we need to go fly.
Yeah.
There is a beauty in like not
There is
having
no
your
chance.
phone for a long period of time. Like that's I'm sure that's beautiful. Like it's weird, but it's very good for you.
It was honestly, it was so rewarding to just have, and then you have all these memories of like actually enjoying things, you know. Like we went to like a bunch of like zoos, and we went to the zoo, and we didn't have a phone, and we just enjoyed what we were seeing, you know.
Yeah, like you're actually present in the moment. Yeah.
And it was so nice. And obviously like we had nannies, and they had cameras and they had their phones, so they could capture little moments here and there, and then they sent everything to us afterwards. But it just made it way better. I had like a vieille caméra que comme you kind of roll. Like,
yeah, disposable.
Yeah, I had that, and like I told myself I would like I would go and I print the pictures a year after my trip. So I didn't know what was on it. I kept it for a whole year. And then I went, and it was like the best experience. I like shed a tear. It was cute.
Yeah.
What's a nanny, by the way? You said like they have nannies.
Yeah, so like because we couldn't be obviously alone, I guess we had one person that was constantly with us. They had like we didn't have cards, we didn't have cash, so he was paying for us in the restaurant, organizing activities if we wanted to
like
do.
a chaperon.
Yeah, c'est un chaperon. We couldn't do anything basically, but without a chaperon. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Have you kept in touch with any of the people that you did the show with? Because I'm sure like it's like a once in a lifetime type of experience, regardless.
Absolutely.
And like you're in a group, so.
Yeah, absolutely. I did. I think like, especially because of the type of person that I am, I definitely, I told a lot of the girls, I was like, you know, like, I feel like here we're forced to be friends, but we don't have to continue a friendship outside of this, you know, like, and I kept in touch with some of the girls that I see more often than others, and some that I just have on social media, and it's a hi-bye thing. But at the end of the day, just like you said, we shared such an incredible experience that like I could talk to you about it for like weeks and months, and you still wouldn't understand fully because you didn't experience it with me, you know. And that's what c'est ça qui nous lie,
Yeah, like bonds you
ensemble.
together.
C'est ça, it's the bond that we have. And even the guys, like a lot of the guys that I couldn't stand, and I'm like, well, hi, you know, how you been? So,
I have a question because I hear often on reality TV, you hear the like Bachelor, MTV. There's a lot of producers that manufacture certain things to help the storyline. I just want to know, did you
Oh,
experience
yeah.
any producers or any assistant or any plotting in your season?
I would have to say though, like I mentioned, because you're in a type of environment where like um that kind of like amplified your feelings and how you feel, and like it just makes everything way more dramatic what it is. That's one thing. And the other thing is that I wouldn't say it was script, because that's like really what we went through. But what I would say is that they would create situation to get the most out of us, I would say. So like, for example, I liked this guy, right? And I was also a friend with another girl with who I got into a fight on the show, and she liked the same guy as me, right? But like I said, I wasn't really fighting for the guy. I didn't like him to a point where I was like, oh my God, that's the man I want to be with. But her, it was really that, you know, she was in love with him. So I was like, that's fine. I'm like, listen, I'm really okay here. Tanning by the pool. I'm glad. But, you know, they would put on a situation where like there was this time I finally got a date. So everyone was so excited for me. Oh my God, Naomi, have a date. And I was like, yes, I'm getting out of the house. I have a date with him, whatever. We go on a date. It's really cute. It's fun, whatever. And like he holds my hand, and I'm like, okay, this is a bit weird because like we don't have this type of, you know. But then we get into the house, and the first thing that he does is go right when we got in the house. He goes to her and he kisses her, hugs her. And then obviously the cameras are like pointing at my face, you know, because we get in the house and everyone's just like looking at me. We were just on a date. Everyone's already at the party, and I'm arriving, and I'm like, well, you know, that's fun. And then he's like kissing her over there. So like the cameras are watching me, and I don't know what to do with myself because I'm like really awkward, and I feel like I'm like, shit. I go to my room and I'm like, oh my God, like, what do I do? And I'm like having like a breakdown, and like the cameras are filming me, and like they can hear what I'm saying. It's a bit embarrassing, but when you look at it after, but then on the moment I felt like this. I was like, what the fuck is this show, you know?
Yeah, I'd be so shy. Like,
wait, so
Exactly.
do you think they told him to do that, or like he just did that?
No, but that's the thing. They would create situation. They would put us in situation where obviously he felt that about her. He liked her. You
Yeah.
know,
Okay,
it's not fake.
So they made you guys go on a date.
Exactly. And then
Start
arrive,
something.
and then
just
the
to start
cameras
beef.
watching me, and then like some of the guys were like, well, you know, Naomi, it's all right, you know, there's more guys coming in. And I'm like, fine, you know. So it's just certain situation, and or just even like things when we were like talking with each other in the house, and we're like, oh my God, I have like, let's say, or like I have this to like talk to with this guy, and like I want to solve the problem, and I want to speak to him, and boom, well, Naomi, you have an activity with him, and you go with him. And then it's like, well, I was just saying I needed to speak to him. And then you go and like you have the beef, you know.
Okay, so they're like forcing it.
Exactly, they would definitely make the situation so that you have the conversation that you want to have without necessarily like scripting it or like, you know, pushing it. But and then you have the confessional where they're like, okay, so you get to the party, you just got a date with him, he goes and kisses her, how do you feel? And then I'm like, well, you know, I don't really care. I felt bad, but like, you know, she's a bitch anyway. And then what you're gonna see on TV is, well, Naomi, she's like, well, she's a bitch anyway. And you know, like, and then everyone's like, oh my God, Naomi's so jealous of her. She hates her. That's why they had beef. But like, what about everything I just said before, you know? So this is the like, I would say like the BTS of reality TV show.
Yeah,
That's so
but
funny.
speaking of PTSD, how do you deal with like online hate? Because I'm sure Twitter went crazy, Facebook comments went crazy. How you go you're back home, you're back in Montreal. How you go not
Mhm.
to be focused on like try not to answer everybody that says something about you?
Honestly, I think I first of all, I really tried to not go and read the comments about me,
Yeah.
but it's just c'est comme plus fort que toi, right? You want to know what they're saying, and then you see a video of you and like the comments. There's like thousands of comments. People come, oh my god, like what did I say? Or like some people, like I can be someone who's like very comme très sarcastic, and like sometimes I make jokes that people, not everyone will find funny, but I'm like, that's hilarious, and I don't really think that, but and people don't know you, right? So like they're
Yeah.
just gonna take what you say and be like, oh my god, Naomi's so jealous, like she wants to
Mm.
be her so badly, and like
And if
oh,
the show
Naomi could
edits
just
it,
start
it makes
up
it
and like
worse.
exactly, but it's so hard. But I just feel like it's you really like you have to try your hardest to not go and read the comments, honestly. I think it happened once that like I went back and forth with some random guy and I was like, why am I even doing this, and he was like, shut the F up, Naomi. And I was like, you shut the F up. Who are you talking to me? But like, he doesn't even know me and I don't know him. And like,
Yeah,
what's the
there's
point
no
Yeah.
of us,
point. There's no point.
But exactly. And you have to like take in, you kind of have to take your own boundaries and have to like be like, okay, you know what? It's not worth it. And they don't know me. And they've seen the show and they're passionate about the show and that's okay. But that's not who I am and whatever, like I think it's one of like, and one of the girls, a lot of the girls were like, oh, like you're gonna see when we're gonna go back to Quebec, like people are gonna know you, they're gonna take pictures of you. And I didn't think, and it's kind of weird, but I didn't think the show was that big. Like I didn't think like people would actually recognize me or anything like that coming out of it. I thought like, okay, yeah, like people are gonna watch the show and they know about it, but I didn't think it was gonna be that much. Like all the followers and comments and people like being so into it and like having something to say about everything you did, right? So I think that the best way to deal with it is really just to not pay attention to it and just really remember who you are and like be surrounded with the people that actually know you, because that's the opinion that matters to you, right? Like who cares about this guy saying like that
Yeah,
you're
random guy.
exactly,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it,
that
it
doesn't
gets
mean.
to you, like we're all human, right? Like
Yeah.
it gets to you, but yeah.
I'm sure all of your interactions, like in real life, were good, though, right?
What'd you say? Can you repeat?
Like all of your real life interactions were good, like after you left the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't have like much hate or backlash from the show. So like a lot of people that would meet me be like, oh, like the only comment I would get is like, oh my God, you're so small. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not that tall. But I think it happens a couple of times that people would be like touchy with me, and that's when I would be like, okay, like let's keep it a bit
Mm.
more. Let's not
Yeah,
touch
that's
each
so
other.
creepy.
Let's not do this, right? But I think that's the only thing. Except for that, like if people ask for pictures, you're allowed to say, like a lot. It happened a lot of time that I was like, I'm at the hospital, like I don't really feel like taking pictures. Like
Damn.
Oh.
let's maybe
Wow.
another time. So, but it happens to like I think that's the only two situations where I was like not really down with it. But
Hmm.
people are very respectful. I think it happened once that some guy was like, I should have never voted for you. Like you're such a blah.
But
Like you have so much attitude. Who do you think you are? And I'm like, dude, like you just don't want to touch your hands. Like can we just enjoy your night? Like But
Yeah, but how you
once
deal with
again, it's about
people?
boundaries. Yeah.
How you deal with people trying to be your friend? Like I can only imagine how you determine if people actually want to be your friend, actually want to get to know you for you, or is it because of the following you're able to
Yeah,
gain
they're
from the
chasing
show
clout.
for them? Exactly. How you decipher like, okay, this person is actually wants to get to know me.
Well, I think it's like it also depends on the type of person that you are, in a sense where there's a lot of people that didn't have. I would say like if before ODA you didn't have um, like all this fame thing is new, and having people's attention is new and everything. Like it's really easy for you to get hooked in it and like just befriend a lot of people. But I was already so close. Like I literally I have the same friends that I've always had for like the past 10 years. Like I really hang out with the same 5 people. And when I came back from the show, it didn't change at all because I didn't change, you know, like I really wanted to come back to like my old life and just live the way I was living before. So it was really easy for me to see people who were like nice to me because of the show, because I model, or, you know, because I've had this situation before, like, before the show I had a couple of followers already, and like I was modeling already, and I had campaigns and like billboards and stuff like this. So you really see it very early. Like all they talk about is the show with you, and like let's take pictures, let's take stories, and like you know, we don't know each other, you know. So I think going back to your environment and like what is your comme ton like your safe haven, I would say, is the best thing you can do coming out of these type of shows. Like not remembering who you were before, and like not, because it's really sad to say, but this type of fame, it comes and it goes, you know, like it's, there's another season every year. Like you're
There's new
not
people.
gonna, there's new people, and it's the buzz, internet buzz, don't, it doesn't last. So I'm not gonna get hooked on that, you know? Like I have friends, I have family. I'm not gonna act brand new because like I'm on a show. Matter of fact, like all my friends are, all I did was like if I got invited to festivals, I would bring all my friends, and like we're all famous here, okay? Let's all eat for free.
Yeah, you're
Let's
bringing
all
them all
get the
with you.
money. Like if I have collabs and I need help from my friends, I'll be like, well, I need help from that person. Let me, like, you need to pay them too. Like, so I make everyone eat on my plate, and that's the best thing you can do when you come on the show. You know,
Yeah,
like
you
come
have to.
back to where you
Not a
are.
lot of people would do
the
that.
episode.
A lot of people get
Send me
like,
the episode.
yeah, facts.
That's true, but it's easy, and I can't blame them. Honestly, we've been in a situation where we were at the Centre Bell watching a show, and I think it was J'ai du Temple show. So he's the host, mais c'est aussi un humoriste. So he does like stand-up comedy, I guess.
Yeah.
And obviously the main people who goes to see him are a fan of Occupation Double, and coming out, like there's one part of the show where like he pointed out to us, and like there was like a big flashlight, so everyone knew we were there. And when we came out of the Centre Bell, everyone wanted to take pictures and stuff like this. We're just surrounded, and I was like, I cannot do this. Like this is why I don't like I don't like going out with all of the cast members and stuff like this, because this was too intense, and that was fresh out of the show, right? It's too much, but at the same time, like you have to leave this type of situation. Like some of them stayed and took pictures, and that's okay if you feel comfortable doing that. But if I know that I don't feel comfortable, that's not what I want to do, I am allowed to leave, and I can protect my own peace, you know? So it's also putting your own boundaries and putting your own like this. I kept telling myself, this is all, it's not gonna last. Like I'm not gonna be known forever. Like you get replaced really fast, and like it's really how you deal with it at the very moment that is important. So
yeah, for sure. There's just one more thing I wanted to ask about these types of shows. It's like, it's for my personal curiosity. You know, I think you said confessional. Is it like the when you're speaking to the camera directly? When are those shot? Is that after everything's happened? Like
yeah.
okay, so okay.
So usually, let's say we have a full day. So like we wake up around like maybe 9, depending on what we have to do. So we have to get ready, and let's say we have to be ready at 10 to shoot. So like at 10, we have whatever, an activity or come an annonce or whatever. We would go through the day, and then if our day ends at 4, we have to stay in our clothes and makeup until the production comes for the confessional. So the confessional might be at like 11 or midnight or 8 or even later than that. And then it's like you have to put yourself back in the situation. So like they're always going to ask questions. For example, like I said earlier, so you're coming back from the date with this guy that you like. He held your hand. It was very romantic. He told you how he was going to save you and keep you this week, and you're safe with him. And then when he gets to the house, he runs to the girl and he kisses her, and everyone is like, oh my God, they're a couple. And then you're there. How do you feel? And then you have to like speak on like le je. So you have to be like, je me sentais. So like I felt like da, because it has to start with you being like, I felt like, you know.
You can't talk in the past like you can't in the past tense. It has to be like as if it's happening.
No, well, you can talk in the past tense, but you cannot talk as if you're responding to the person, that because there's someone in front of you, right?
Yeah.
So you can be like, well, I don't know, like you just can't respond to them. You have to
Yeah,
like
yeah,
answer
yeah.
the question from like your point of view, if that makes sense. So like
I
I
get it.
felt like, or like I da 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 da, genre.
Yeah,
So
because usually those are like they speak in present. That's why I asked
yeah,
this, because like
Yeah, they
they're
always speak in
speaking as if
present
it's like
tense.
yeah,
happening right now. So I was like, when the fuck are they recording this? Like,
yeah. Because sometimes it will tell you like, okay, speak in present, or like as if it happened right now. So
yeah,
like
yeah,
you're
yeah.
talking in tense, but these are just filmed at the end of the day. Like they're
Mm,
not filmed at the very moment. So
okay,
they
makes
film
sense.
reactions. What you see in the houses happens right now.
Yeah.
But the confessionals, it's very late. Like I missed so many confessional because I was just sleeping. Like I was already tired, done with my day. Like I don't have much to say anyway, so I didn't really care. But sometimes they would like wake me and be like, "Oh, like you have a confessional," or, like you know.
Oh
So
my god.
yeah.
Would you ever go on another reality show?
I think I would only do Big Brother, something like that. Something like
Me
genre
too.
avec de la compétition, a bit of like, plotting and like
Yeah,
I
like a
would do
strategy
something like
game.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but something related to love, no. No.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
never
those
for
are
me to
messy.
begin. Yeah, it was never for me to begin with because like I think you don't see this on the show, but we see them like twice a week for 45 minutes, and there's like 5 guys that I have to get to know. Like this is a lot. Like how am I going to know it's the love of my life? You know? So it's like as like the type of person that I am, I knew I wasn't gonna find someone for like a lifetime. It
Yeah,
could
for
have happened,
sure.
honestly, like love at first sight, but like it's not for me, you know? So I don't think I would do like another love show, but I would definitely do something like where there's like plotting and like some shady
Yeah,
ish
like you
going
have
on.
to.
You should apply for The Circle. It would be so cool. You know The Circle on Netflix?
Yes, I love the show. I don't know. I'm also very like it's a lot. Doing these shows is a lot
A
because like
lot, yeah.
now like I have so much to lose, like I'm
Yeah,
not gonna quit my government
Oh, you're
job.
right, because you have to go for 3
Exactly.
months or like, oh god.
Right? Like my apartment, like j'ai juste trop de responsabilité for like
Yeah.
what it's gonna bring me. I feel like especially when you're young, it's fine, but when you're a bit older, like you have to have a plan when you do these shows. Like unless you don't really have any responsibility, and it doesn't really matter. But like
Yeah.
if you go on TV, what's next? So
Yeah.
it's that's what I think. So I don't think I would I would be on other TV show, but I mean, who knows?
Yeah, maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
what have you been doing since then, though? Like, how have you been making? I mean, other than modeling, I know you do like influencing on social media too
Yeah, we
now.
need to do a little influencing segment.
Yeah, I know Sasha wanted to
Yes,
ask
I'd
about
love
like the
to.
Honda.
Yeah,
the
how'd you get a
Honda.
free car? How about that?
I don't know if she got a free car, but I know that
I
you
I
need
did
that
it for
did
out
get
there.
a
Honda.
card,
I
but I
need to
had it
upgrade my
for a
car.
week. It was really cool to
Ah,
have like an unreleased card for a week. I would say
Yeah,
this.
that's really cool.
Yeah, I would say like this is mainly how I make my money, other than my 9 to 5. But I love my job at the government too. Like it's so like rewarding for me to be able to help people and stuff in this way. And I would say like influencing, I take contracts just because I'm not signed with any agency, so I go through the contracts myself. So like I like go through them, I make my own money, I make my own content. I love having the control over it, and it's one thing that I like versus modeling where like I shoot pictures and I don't even know what I look like or like what is
Mm.
going to be picked, or a lot of times you don't see them until they are released. So that's one thing that I like about posting on like social media and having these type of contracts. I don't do much because I'm also not that present on social media. Like I don't post on a day-to-day basis and I'm not as consistent. But whenever I have a contract that is pretty interesting, I love doing it. So I would say that's pretty the 3 things that I kind of juggle
Mm.
now. Oh yeah.
Do you reach out to companies, or have they been reaching out to you?
Mainly reaching out to me, yeah. I
Okay.
don't reach out to, just because I'm at the same time influencing is not it's more of like a side hustle. It's not like mainly what I want to do, what I'm focusing on, and I'm
Mm.
putting my own energy. So mainly companies would reach out to me, and if I'm interested, I am. If I'm not, I'll just decline politely.
So you're more focused on like your government job.
Yeah, for sure. I would
Okay.
say.
What do you do there then?
So everything related to immigration,
Oh,
citizenship,
okay.
permanent residency, refugees. So that's mainly what I do. Yeah, I feel like the money that I make from influencing and modeling is just to pay for my traveling and like other
Your side
investments that I want
hustles.
to do. Yeah, it's really just the side money, I would say.
That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair.
Yo,
Mm.
shout out to that. I wish more people would. A lot of people got overpassed that, but I think she just
Mhm.
dropped the major bomb of like having anything outside 9 to 5, just paying for your
Mhm.
lifestyle and everything
Yeah.
between 9 to 5
Yeah.
before what you want. So I think it's very impactful. You just said.
Yeah, but for me,
Yeah,
I've
it
always
is.
said like if as long as you love your job, then there's no need to like want to quit. Me, it's just because I hated it so
Mhm.
much, so I wanted to quit. But like if you actually love your job and you're getting side money, like you've won basically.
Mhm.
I have a question. Maybe this might be too much of a specific question concerning the government, but for people who don't know, they're increasing the amount of immigrants we're receiving into the country.
Mhm.
And we did a couple episodes on real estate. I just want to know, does the government have a plan for where these people are going to live? Because that's my major question in terms of housing.
It's a very good question, but it kind of sucks to say where like it's not much of what we do in our side
Okay.
where we're way more on like le côté administratif, whatever it takes, like, which kind of sucks because we have like this one thing that we do where we send like resources, but that's pretty much what it stops there. When it comes to like the housing plans and especially for the refugees and everything, c'est quelque chose qui just regarding outside, genre des organismes qui sont outside of like the government, or
Okay.
Service Canada, genre, I would say. It's really way
Yeah.
that. But honestly, right now, it's more of like we just bring the more people we can help and we see after that. But housing is pretty crazy now. That's a very good
Yeah,
question
it's so
to have.
bad. Oh.
Yeah, me and Sasha were just talking about it. Honestly, I don't know how in a couple. I mean, there's this law that just went through. I think about how you won't be able to buy if you're not a Canadian citizen. I think something like that.
Oh, is that
Uh,
true? Is that happening right now?
it's bullshit.
Yeah,
It's bullshit, but
you think it's
it's
bullshit? Honestly,
I
Wait,
know
what
it's
is it?
bullshit. 'Cause you're able to buy, but you just have there's like ways to go around it. It's just that for people who don't have a lot of money and who don't have relatives inside the country, it's gonna be hard. For anybody else who has a lot of money who has relatives inside, for example, if I have an uncle that comes from Mexico and I want to buy a house with him, we could do it together, and he has to bring
yes,
like
yeah,
a certain amount
absolutely.
of
But
money.
you just
So
won't be able to buy by yourself. I think if you're not.
exactly.
Yeah. But
Wait,
yeah,
so
you are allowed to buy with someone else. Yeah.
so if
Is it a
someone
question
immigrates
of
here and they're by themselves, they have no family, they can't buy a home?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Crazy.
is it a question of primary residence or it doesn't have anything to do with that?
No, it doesn't have anything to do with that. It's just because how like the housing situation is pretty crazy right
Oh,
now.
okay.
Yeah.
Like l'inflation, puis all the prices, les intérêts, puis tout, it's very crazy. So it's not equal for everyone. So they want to
Okay.
limit it to like Canadian citizen. But
Yeah,
it all
I guess
comes
it
to the
makes
same
sense.
thing. Yeah, because
Because
like you were
essentially,
saying, you can buy it with someone else. So
during the pandemic, a lot of Chinese buyers were buying and weren't living, so they're
Yeah.
buying
yeah.
apartment buildings, 10 million,
Uh-huh.
And they
5
bought out
million,
all the real
4
estate.
million.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
That's
if you go
exactly
to
it. Yeah.
Vancouver, there's a lot of like empty condos, but they're just bought by Chinese companies or Chinese families. Anyways, a lot of political things, but essentially they're gonna stay vacant until they come over and they bring the money.
Mhm.
But some people have been living there, but unfortunately, no more
Yeah.
houses. So
Mhm.
I think we're 30 million houses short in terms of affordable housing for everyone. So
That's
Wow.
true.
we're not
Yeah.
gonna
And
have
also the consequences are not that, like, I think you get a fine and that's pretty much it. And like the people who helped you purchase that home, like for example, les notaires and etc., get fined too. But
Mm,
after that, you get the home taken and that's pretty much it, you know? So yeah.
damn. So we
That's
can't
crazy.
like you can't have a property and go to Dubai or something. Like
Oh,
move
'cause
to
you-
Dubai.
no, but you'd
If
still be a citizen.
Yeah, c'est ça.
you
If
could
you're
do
a
that.
citizen and you're buying, it's fine. But if
Yeah,
you're
it's the
not a
other way around.
citizen, you
No,
can't
yeah,
buy.
if you want
Yeah.
to like give up. Okay.
Because you'd still
Yeah.
have your like Canadian citizenship even if you live somewhere else. I think you keep your citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then do
It's
you
like
have to pay
buying a
taxes
US.
if you keep your citizenship? That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
you have to do that.
Okay.
No,
Yes,
I don't know.
you can buy.
Essentially, you could buy
As long as you're a Canadian citizen, you can buy. It's just that you cannot buy if you're not one. That's the
Yeah.
only
Okay,
thing.
okay.
Yeah.
So I
And
can buy as a Canadian citizen and then I think they make you
go.
sell it though when you renounce your Canadian citizenship. But like I don't want to renounce the Canadian citizen. Anyways, this is
Yeah,
for
but that's Dubai. Well, just
yeah, that's yeah.
He said that's the vibe. I'm not sure if you had to renounce it just because, you know, like if it's yours, right?
Okay.
I don't know how it works, to be honest, guys.
Anyways, we'll get somebody because I need
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
need
need
someone
to
who can.
we need someone
Yes,
somewhere
who
else.
knows
yes,
this stuff on the podcast. We need to get
yes,
someone
yes,
like
yes.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
guys. I promise you, I'm becoming a snowbird. It's official. Why it was already official, but I'm
Mm.
announcing on the podcast, so I'm accountable now.
Oh,
A
me too. Me
snowbird,
too.
like you're
Yeah, we're gone.
gonna buy.
We're out.
Yeah. Miami residence, 6 months, and then afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
Me
when
too,
it's
guys. I went outside today and I was dying today. It's so bad.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot. There are way more des Québécois qui font ça maintenant. So they buy in Miami and they just
And like
travel.
Cuba too.
Yeah,
I think like
Mexico.
80% of
Mexico,
Cuba is
Yeah,
people from
yeah,
Quebec.
yeah. Even Panama aussi, which
yeah.
is like
Facts.
yeah,
Panama is a
yeah,
fire
but
Panama
place
we'll
too.
do
looks so
Panama over here, man.
nice.
yeah.
We'll do
I've been
Panama
to
over here.
Panama before. It's honestly a dream.
Yeah, it
So
looks
good.
so nice.
Yeah, and
So
honestly, it's so nice to have a business there too. So
Yeah.
yeah, I know we've been
Yeah,
following like people that
yeah.
have moved to
Naomi knows.
Panama. Yeah, facts.
Belize, or also for people who know Belize, Barbados, Saint Lucia, Saint Vincent, Saint Bart's.
Run it,
Mhm.
run it.
Yeah, that's it. That's really funny.
So what's next for you? Like, what are you doing now? What are your future plans?
good question. I don't know. I don't know where my life is heading. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, that's fine if you don't.
No,
You're
I
still
think
very young.
I definitely want to go. I want to reach a level with the government. I'd like to work overseas. I think that's
Oh,
my
that's
main
cool.
goal right now. I'm like getting all the certification that I need to be able to work where I want to work, and probablement pour l'ambassade, um, like for like the Canada embassy somewhere else. So like I
Oh,
can
That's
that's so
fire.
cool.
yeah, that's definitely what I would like to do. That's my end goal here. And then I can still like modeling, not as much if I'm not signed in another country, but I can still like make some money off of Instagram and like probably like invest in real estate. And like that's pretty much what I want to do. And like, yeah.
Alright.
And I spoke to Sasha about opening my own Amazon store. So, you know, there's a lot to see still.
Yeah, she could do a private
you're on the
label
right
or
track.
something.
Yeah, she for sure could kill private label. It's true.
Yeah.
But no,
I-
but you know what?
Oh
No,
yeah,
but
that's
you know what? She told me that she doesn't like being in the public as much.
Yeah,
So
I can see that now from talking to you.
Yeah.
Like, you're very similar to me as well. Like, you don't like
I literally told her, I
social
was like,
media
my
stuff.
boyfriend's the exact same way.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Yeah, yeah.
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 So then
Yeah,
it
and
would
that's
work
what I like.
perfectly for you.
Yeah, that's what I like about it is because like I'm not like I was saying I don't post like if I wish I was able to do more of that like on Instagram I would get way more contracts for sure like posting on my dating and be like hey today I'm just but like I'm not it's not in me I have a hard time doing it and
Yeah.
I'm also someone who just protects so much of what I have and my people and what I do on a day-to-day basis. I just think there's creep everywhere and I'm like oh my god what if someone like knows where I live and like you know so I think this is a good way of me like being able to make more money is just without necessarily having to be out there and like do a lot of marketing and stuff like this. So
For sure, for sure.
100%.
I have a question about something you said earlier. But so in the
Mhm.
beginning of the episode, you said something about being like not confident when you were like when the guys were approaching you about modeling.
Mhm.
What's some advice you can give, or like if you can tell us a bit about your story of how you were able to overcome that. And
Mhm.
I know, and like you're as you're saying now, like you're still a bit shy to post and stuff. How were
Mhm.
you able to overcome that and just like jump into modeling and influencing? Tell us a
Mhm.
little bit about that.
It's a good question. I think that one of the main thing that kind of stuck with me was that like this is for you. Like in a sense where you get opportunities because people believe in you and they think they're actually good at it, you know? It's so easy to compare yourself in anything you do, honestly. There's always going to be someone who's more successful and better at it and whatever. But as long as you're doing it and you like it and you keep on like being successful and like you maintain that you're doing it for the purpose of it and you love doing it, it's all like I say, like you can be successful in anything. I always tell there's a lot of girls that would DM me and be like, oh, like how can I be a model and how this, and I'm never going to be the one that's going to be like, oh, like I don't think that's for you, or like, oh, maybe you shouldn't try. No, like I'm going to be like, if that's what you want to do and you think like go ahead and try, and if that's not for you, which I always tell, which is funny, is because the agency that scouted me a year before and they said I was too small. And they came back to me a year after and they signed me. Yeah, they signed me right away. And they're like, we want exclusivity on you. We don't want you singing no one else and stuff. So when it's the right timing for you, it will be for you. So like always try. And if it doesn't work one place, it will work another place. Like I think that mainly I have to thank my mom, because she was like, what do you mean you're scared of what? Like if you like it, go ahead, try it. You never know. You're never gonna know until you try it. If you fail, fine. You have other things that you can do. You're good at other things, you know? And I think that's mainly why I always had my job, because for me, it was like, oh my God, if I go to London and I model, I'm completely shit at it. I still have my job here, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just and I mean, it's not as much as a good thing also, because you have to be able to take risk in a lot of industries where like, tu dois aller genre qui tout double and be like, listen, it's either I go all in or all out. And that's what I say. If you want to start something, be 100% about it, or else just wait for the right moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts.
Shout out to your mom for like.
Yeah.
Shout out to my mom. I swear.
Because like as parents, there's some parents that don't even want you to try certain things, but like you have to try whatever you think you could be good at. And then if you don't like it, you don't like it, and that's it.
Yeah, that's very true. That's one thing I would always say, like, and I admire from my parents. They're always going to like encourage you to go and get what's for you. Like they would always tell me, well, if you're not good at this, what are you good at?
Yeah.
And make a plan out of this, you know? Like if you're not good at school, don't waste your time at school. Like I was never like, I tried school and it's not for me. And I don't like being in class. I like making money. I was always working. Like I would skip class to work. I would skip class and homeworks. Like this is what I want to do, you know? So she was like, okay, fine. Then what else? If you're not good at this, how do you want to get to where you want to go? You know? So that's one thing I would say. I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, guys, do you have any more questions for Naomi?
No, I think we covered a lot. There was a lot
this was
of
a really cute episode.
Yeah, it was a very good episode.
I feel like I spoke so much, and I'm like,
I know you're saying, you keep saying you're shy.
Yeah, I know.
I was like,
took
oh
over
my
the
God,
show.
you should ask them questions. And I was like, wait, can I do this? I was like, you talk so much. Ask questions, you know?
No, it's your episode. It's your episode. No, but honestly, like no, it was a really good episode, and like we really appreciate your time and like saying everything that you said. And
thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
We have one last question that we always ask.
Oh yeah.
No, I said I'm not asking it anymore, so you guys can ask.
Do you know the Jay-Z question?
So basically, we started ending our episodes with a question, and Chris decided he doesn't want to do it anymore because he keeps doing it badly. Anyways, so basically, the question is: if you had to choose between $500,000 right now or a dinner with Jay-Z, which one would you choose and why?
Oh, that's a very good question.
You've never heard that question before?
Yes, I've heard that question, and I always don't know what to think. The dinner with Jay-Z, I've heard it so many times.
People always argue.
Yeah, they always argue, but honestly, $5,000 is not much if we really look at it.
500K.
Oh, 500.
Yeah, half a mil.
Now you're talking to me. Hold on. Now we're talking money. I was like,
if it's 5K, I'm gonna go see Jay-Z.
5K is nothing. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Wow, that's a good
half
question.
a mil or Jay-Z?
I feel like honestly, I would have to, because the knowledge Jay-Z can bring me, I can really get it off the internet. You can look up anything today. You know what I mean? So it's really bad to say I love Jay-Z. I love you, Jay-Z. If you're watching this, sorry.
There we go.
But I just feel like I would probably take the money and invest it. I would get the knowledge that I want to go with. Like, for example, let's say I want to put it into like NFTs and whatever. I'll just get the knowledge I need on the internet, get the follow the
NFTs right now.
Yes, like follow the classes, the courses that I have to take, and just invest with that money. Because, you know, like maybe Jay-Z will pay for the dinner, and that's what I'll appreciate that moment. But I feel like it's only not. I mean, maybe there is something Jay-Z can teach me or two. You know what? Ever since he cheated on Beyonce, I don't really want to hear anything from him. So I'll take the money.
Facts.
That's crazy.
Give me the money.
No, we got beat.
For 1 second, I swear for 1 second.
We got beat.
I swear for 1 second, Charl thought you were gonna say like, oh,
my eyes lit up.
All the
my eyes lit up and then my mouth dropped.
And then she's like, "Oh yeah, I can just
I
learn
could
it
get that from
online." And
Google. My mouth dropped.
I mean, am I lying though, Sasha?
My mouth
You
no,
know,
YouTube University. I'm all for YouTube
mais c'est
University.
ça, tu comprends? Like TikTok everywhere, I can learn so
You
much.
can learn anything.
Yeah.
No, you
anywhere.
had a very good answer. Like your
And
answer,
I
Who
don't
on
think
TikTok
YouTube's
makes
gonna
$1
give me
billion?
the money.
it made sense. It made sense.
Man,
Listen,
But you don't need
bro.
$1 billion. Like,
If that booking, if that dinner with JC is guaranteeing me a check at the end, I will have the dinner. I will. But
No, there's no
Yo.
check
except
at
for
that.
some maybe very good caviar. I don't know what else. Well,
like maybe you could get some clout off of Jay-Z and like get some fame. But
No,
like,
she had a good answer. Like at least she's gonna learn something.
me too.
And
I would take
invest
the
in
money.
it.
Like if it was me, I'd
So
take
yeah,
the money too.
as long as you know what to do with it, then for sure. If you don't know what to do with it, though,
well, exactly. Then I would take the dinner with Jay-Z and ask me questions.
yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for watching Untold Gems. Naomi, where can they find you?
Thank you so much, guys, for having me. I appreciate the time you gave me. And if ever you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Naomy, NAOMY.BOBE. That's pretty much all I have. I do post on TikTok, but it's very low key. So you can follow me on TikTok if you want to also. And yeah, on Twitter, same thing.
Perfect. We'll leave the links in the description. Thank you guys very much for watching and listening.
Thank
Thank you again for
you.
joining us. And yeah, we'll see you all next week.